Hello, this is Chas with Heirloom Leaves and Seeds, and today I wanted to do a flower focus on this lovely hibiscus. Now this hibiscus is what I call Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus, but it is also known by several other names such as cranberry hibiscus, red leaf hibiscus, African rose mallow, and false roselle. Now, in one of my previous videos, I was talking about how the red hibiscus here in Tennessee in zone 7B gets really tall. And in that video, I was talking about how all year long, all it does is produce foliage. So I was curious as to how we get the seeds. It's crazy because right after I made that video, they started to form buds. Now, the crazy thing here was our first frost of 2024 was about a week before our average frost date, which is October 24th. And they're getting buds. Now, this particular plant I covered with a frost blanket, and it's continued to grow because right after that frost, it warmed right back up and it's kept growing. But I have taken a few cuttings and I will put it up here, and you can see that just a few buds are forming. If you look focused right here, that is where you can start to see some buds forming. And they're growing the whole length of this. I'll just pick up one so I can point them out. Ooh, this one really has one. Hold on. Okay. I had one in the shop and now I've got a few more. I just took a couple cuttings because these seem to have even more outside. So right here is one, here's one, here's one, and there's one. And this one seems to be the largest. But an interesting fact about these is I will put them just like this, and they will overwinter like this. And then in the spring, they will form roots down here, and I'll stick them in some soil. And then I get a jump on the season, and I will start them from seed as well. But it's just a really cool plant, and I found this out just by accident. I had some left over from some bouquets, and I did notice that they started to form roots. So that's when I tried to overwinter them. It's worked successfully one year. Another year, somehow they ended up with aphids, and I just tossed them outside because I didn't want them to spread. I asked if anybody knew if they flower, and I got an interesting response. They live on a Greek island, and they are in zone 10. And they said that it blooms in late November to early December. And she said the flowers are very gorgeous, and they are a bit darker than the foliage, which that would be very neat to see. The flowers do not last long, but there are new ones every day. And that makes sense because when you look at these, there's a bud here, 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 and several up here. So I could see them probably starting from the base and flowering from the base up. But that is very interesting. So they are in a zone 10. I'm in zone 7B. So that explains why I need just a little bit more time. So I'll try maybe these guys, get them in the ground earlier, and maybe that will give them that jump. Because now that they explained what these flowers look like, that sounds really interesting. A few more interesting facts about Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus is that the beautiful mahogany color of the leaves is from the full sun. So if you were to bring them indoors, and I've experienced this a little bit, they start to turn green. Some of that beautiful mahogany color, it tends to dull. It'll get dull and a little coppery, and then eventually it will turn green, which isn't bad. And it will regain that color once it's back in the sun if you have a rooted cutting. And then I looked up just a brief description about it, and Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus is considered to be a tropical herbaceous perennial in zone 7A to 9B. It's a tender perennial or annual in all the other growing zones, and it takes 115 to 130 days to maturity. Now, I think that would be how long it takes it to have nice foliage that's ready to cut. I don't think that's bloom and set seed. So 130 days, 3, 6, 9, 10, 12. I mean, that's almost 5 months. So if you have them in May in the ground and started, that'd be May, June, July, August, September. So that's why I'm not really seeing these guys flower. So I'm going to try really hard to get the seeds started really early, or get these rooted cuttings in the ground really early, just to try to get them to flower next year. I think that'll be a really fun experiment. Now I will show you, this is just a video of the last time I was in the garden, what the Mahogany Splendor looked like. Today is very cold, so I know over the weekend and into the beginning of next week, it's going to be in the teens even, so I'm pretty sure that's going to wipe the Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus out, but it's been fun having it this long. So I will also show you some pictures of it in the end, because we've definitely had a frost. I hope you guys have liked this video and have found it interesting, and I hope that you will give Mahogany Splendor a try. Well, you have a good weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Here I am outside, and I wanted to show you guys, they are starting to do this outside. You can see these little flower buds starting to form. And if you look close, each one is doing this. And these are the ones that when we got our first frost, I covered them up. And so they have hung on, and it looks like they're starting to attempt to flower. So that's really neat. This is the first year they have ever done this. So here is my hibiscus plant. I'm a little disappointed. I knew it was going to happen, but yeah, it's officially done. It's just kind of melted. So the Mahogany Splendor is officially done for the year. And here's some of the dahlias. They're still hanging on there. They're not dead completely, but they're on their way out too. All right, well, you guys have a good week. Bye. Right on the edge of the barn is a huge hawk. They come to this area every year, and they hang out around our pond area. So big.